Oh, oh, oh. LL, what's good? What's good with it? Waiting for I'm telling you, man, in this relationship, we talked about it a little bit, I think one of the earlier shows this week, guys. What's good? What it's like, to wait for your lady all the time as a boyfriend or a husband, how patient you have to be. That's me in this relationship when it comes to Malik, dude. He is the lady in front of the mirror, always taking forever, man. So I didn't want to, especially after not having a show yesterday. That was on me. I dedicated yesterday to my family. We spent time together. Did Went and saw the new Jurassic Park. It was okay. It was okay. Nice ending to the series of movies. It was okay. It wasn't a Top Gun Maverick quality, but it was cool. It was cool. So it was good to go and spend $100. Yes, that's pretty much what I took from yesterday. I came back and I sat down and said, I just spent about $110, right? Because they didn't just want to go see it on the regular screen. We had to go to like super screen, the LX, with the theater that does the hot food and all of that stuff. And yeah, so basically $110 to go to the movies. And this is why I prefer to just wait for movies to be released and watch it at home. Absolutely. Like, it's no need, man. It's too expensive. Too expensive. And right now, with theaters struggling, they need to cut prices to get people to come back to the theaters. It's bananas. It's crazy. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Malik Zaire will be along shortly. We're brought to you by Onora Whiskey at OnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you're going to drink, make sure you drink responsibly. So, as I said before, yesterday I decided to spend time with the family. I know Malik has an interview. He didn't do the CJ Carr interview on IPC last night, but he has an interview today with the commitment. So I know he has some stuff that he's trying to get together before he comes on. And yeah, guys, Top Gun was bananas. Like, it might have been better than the first one. It might have been better than the first Top Gun. And that's hard to beat. That's hard to beat. It's debatable, dude, because I debate all the time whether or not Godfather 2 was better than 1. Like, hardcore dudes say no. But the way they put together the past and the present for Godfather 2 and the way it was done, I kind of lean towards Godfather 2. I'm a huge Godfather 2 fan. So you guys let me know in the chat. What sequels do you think were better than the first or the original movie? Empire Strikes Back definitely was better than A New Hope. Absolutely. That's another one that I can think about. So you guys let me know in the chat. That's something that'll keep you guys going as we continue to talk. That's good. I see some of your comments. So I know you guys are checking in because unless you were under a rock and didn't hear about this since the announcement went out on Monday via Twitter and social media, something special happened for Notre Dame. Here it is.
Michigan always will hold a special place in my heart. We're a Michigan family. But with that being said, I'd like to commit to the University of Notre Dame.
There it is. Wow. CJ Carr going to pave his own path and head to Notre Dame.
Okay. So now I played that for you guys so you can see it, just in case you missed it. I'm going to play it one more time. Watch the difference between mom's reaction and dad's reaction.
Michigan always will hold a special place in my heart. We're a Michigan family. But with that being said, I'd like to commit to the University of Notre Dame.
There it is. Wow. CJ Carr going to pave his own path and head to Notre Dame.
So notice the mom, the excitement is coming as he starts to get towards the main thing, right? Her eyes open and she's beaming with pride looking at her son. And her clap is the full clap, right? The full clap. The dad, just emotionless, just there to support his son. And the clap he gives is like this right here. Like, it's so interesting, man, that these parents get so, and as a parent, I kind of can empathize because important decision for your child. And you have been an influence, a heavy influence on their life up to this point. And now they get the first opportunity to really make their own decision that impacts their life. And but I just find it interesting that, these adults, the more and more I stick around everything that's happening in recruiting, these adults really, really have strong opinions about where they want their child to go. Now, we know the connection. He's Lloyd Carr, former Michigan head coach, who was under Gary Moeller and Bo Schembechler. It's his grandson. The connection to Michigan, he goes to Saline High School there in Ann Arbor. So it's a big deal, right? But with that being said, the kid said multiple times on multiple interviews, he sat down with Irish Players Club. He also sat down with Irish Breakdown. He's known all along that Notre Dame was the place for him. We talked about it previously on Wednesday. Don't get it twisted. There's no way a conversation was not had with the Notre Dame coaching staff and the parents or the father of CJ Carr concerning Dante Moore. And if I was his father, we would have had the same conversation. What's going on with that? What's up with that? Is he coming? If he comes, will the competition be open? Will my son have the opportunity to win that competition? All of these are concerns and questions that would have come up in a conversation before my son would have committed. CJ Carr said he had more visits in June after the Notre Dame visit at the Irish invasion, and said he got home from the Irish invasion and told his dad, that's it, lock it down. I'm done. There's no need to go anywhere. And what we see in CJ Carr, and we're going to get to this, and Dante Moore is really polar opposites of how situations are handled, right? Because what has been reported and what we've heard is that Dante Moore absolutely has a great relationship with Tommy Rees, loves the school, loves the players, wants to go to Notre Dame, but has a failure to launch. He just has a failure to publicly commit to Notre Dame for some reason, right? Much speculation about the people around him influencing that decision, dragging this thing out. And then you have CJ Carr. I want to point this out, who I would say has a father that is just as invested and has the same connection to the University of Michigan as Dante Moore's father. Same connection, same strong connection. But CJ Carr stepped up, pretty much said, Dad, I understand your concerns. I hear what you're saying, but that's where I want to go, and I'm ready to make that decision. Why? Because he's ready to start being the face of the 24 class. Forget all the reclassification stuff. There's rumors right now. Until it happens, it happens. And everyone I've talked to, because I just want to double check, reclassifying at other schools is a little bit easier than reclassifying at Notre Dame. It's a totally different process. So we'll let that play out. But it's amazing how the fathers are really similar and have been operated the same in the recruitment of their sons up until one point, right? And I don't know who I put it on. I don't know if the difference is between the two young men or if the difference is between the fathers. I'm interested in seeing what you guys think about that. The difference in CJ Carr's recruitment and the outcome that we've seen before us that took place yesterday, is it a result of a difference between the two young men or the difference between the two fathers? It's interesting because I believe wholeheartedly that both of the fathers have a strong connection to Michigan. Both of the fathers are worried about their sons, looking out for their sons. CJ Carr's father wanted him to continue the visits to see what was out there. What's the difference? And I thought that was very interesting. We had a discussion the other day, not the previous podcast, and I want to make sure that everyone understands this because I love you guys so much. Even after the show, you guys hit us up on YouTube with questions and comments and hit me on the inbox and Twitter and my Instagram. And I try to answer as much as I can. But the amazing thing is you guys were really concerned about how this impacts the recruiting of Dante Moore. And the more I hang around, I'm starting to realize that there are certain publications that will remain nameless that really have agendas, specifically when it comes to Notre Dame. The way they report things is really slick. If you focus on how they report, the stuff that goes out, then they pull it back, then they put something else out. It's almost like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? We always tell you, we feel like we're assets to the University of Notre Dame. At least that's how we want to operate, as assets to the University of Notre Dame, right? We talk to these kids, we report on these kids. When I have conversations with these kids, I'm letting them know how great Notre Dame is. I'm letting them know. If they ask me, yeah, I'm an asset. I'm definitely an asset. So sometimes the way things are reported, I wonder whether or not people are really viewing themselves as assets to the university that they report about or report on. It's very interesting. So I heard good information, and I'm going to give it to you straight. The conversation did take place about Dante Moore when it comes to CJ Carr. Whatever was said by the coaching staff made him feel comfortable enough to shut down his recruitment and do what he wanted to do months ago. Think about that. He said he knew where he wanted to go early spring. It was clear he was ready to pull the trigger. What stopped him from pulling the trigger? Dad, I don't know about this, right? You were Dante's backup on the 7-on-7 squad. You've been his backup. I don't know if I want you to go to the same school as him. Let's pull that back a little bit. Son says, okay. Pulls it back, goes on some visits, talks to some other schools. It's not the same. It's just not the same. Comes back, goes to Irish Invasion. Jack Larson is his guy. Cam Williams from Illinois is his guy. All of a sudden, these guys, he introduces Cam to Jack. He's the middleman between both guys. Cam and Jack, is their first time meeting each other. And the next thing you know, they're spending like chunks of the next 2 hours, 2.5 hours together. And the conversation goes from pleasantries to, yo, it'll be dope if we were all here together. That would be really dope if we all played here together and came here together. Now, once again, I have to know this because if he knew, CJ Carr's best friend is Brandon Davis Swain, who committed to Notre Dame on my birthday. That's why I love that kid. He committed to Notre Dame at the Blue and Gold game. His best friend. When Brandon Davis Swain came to the Blue and Gold game, he talked about how impressed he was with Al Washington and why Al Washington was the main reason he decided to commit on that day, because he knew it was time. But when he showed up on campus, he also knew that his best friend was going to commit. Think about it. CJ Carr said he knew back in March. His best friend is Brandon Davis Swain. Brandon Davis Swain comes for the official visit at the Blue and Gold game, commits because he knew CJ Carr was coming. And he loved Al Washington. Now, I wrote a great piece on Irish Breakdown. It was about Cam Williams, but it was about Cam Williams talking about how literally he had just met Jack Larson. And in the matter of 10 minutes, the conversation went from, yo, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, that's what's up. You from Charlotte? Yeah, I'm from the Chicago area. That's what's up. Yo, yeah, that's crazy. Ah, man, this really is a family vibe. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Coach Freeman is dope. Coach Freeman, man, I love Chancey Stuckey, man. I knew Dylan McCullough when he was recruiting me when he was at Indiana. So I have a great rapport with the coaching staff. Jack Larson's like, me too. I love these guys, man. And CJ Carr is in the middle, and he's like, what if we all came? And they look at each other, and they're like, you know what? It feels right. That would be dope. Cam Williams leaves. All of a sudden, his mindset coming to Irish Invasion was, you know what? I'm going to go check it out. Really love Notre Dame, one of my top schools. Check it out. Come home. Start thinking about releasing a top list. By the time the season starts, come back for official visit. Go to some game day experiences. Big Ten, Notre Dame, SEC school. Ultimately make my decision sometime in the fall. And in the blink of an eye, because of CJ Carr and Jack Larson, now he's like, man, let me call Drake Bowen. Yo, Drake, yo, what's up? What's good? Thanks for liking my tweet, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, so what's going on with the 23 class? Okay. Yeah, man. I know me, CJ, and Jack, we were talking about what it would be like if we all came and all committed, like real soon, and how we could really build the class like you guys are doing in 23 and really make it a family affair. Yeah. And they start sharing visions that they have for each class and for Notre Dame football in the future. Sounds like a great story, but it actually happened. It actually happened. And the first domino to fall was CJ Carr on yesterday when he committed to Notre Dame. So right now, as it sits, the number one class in the nation in 2023 and the number two class in the nation for 2024. If you saw my Twitter today, I posted a couple of pictures of Don Schuler, Eli Peyton Bowen, some of the other recruits leading the way into Notre Dame Stadium for one of the biggest weekends, recruiting-wise, probably in the history of Notre Dame, probably going back to some of those great banquet weekends after Notre Dame just finished off a national championship season or a big bowl win. and they would have the banquet in December, and Lou Holtz would start reeling the best talent in the nation in so they could commit on National Signing Day in February. This has that vibe, man. This weekend in South Bend kind of has that vibe. Like the football banquet weekend. It has that vibe. Top of the top. Commits coming. Drake Bowen, he can't get there until Sunday night. Originally, he's the semifinals for the state baseball championship. His school, Andrean High School, they made the semifinals. They're the defending champs. And the tournament most of the time is held in La Porte, which is closer to South Bend. This year is being held in Kokomo. It's being held in Kokomo. So he really won't be able to be there this weekend. But as soon as his game starts at 2:30 on Saturday. As soon as the game ends, which I speculate should be about the way Andrean probably wins that game easily. Probably be a low-scoring affair, something like 4-2, something like that. So it should go quick. 4-1, 5-1, something like that. He'll get to South Bend probably around 6:30, 7 o'clock. They're high-tailing. As soon as the game is over, hopping in the truck, hightailing it to South Bend so he can have dinner with his guys, specifically his guy, Christian Gray, who is really the only one within that little small group. Him, Adon, Eli, Peyton Bourne, the video game crew is what I call them, right? And Christian Gray was telling me how he bangs on, they've been really playing Warzone. I've never played Warzone. If anybody out there has played it, let me know how it is. Maybe I can get into it. But they've been playing Warzone lately. And, he says he's been banging up on Drake. Drake has been frustrated, too. He shared that with me. Like, man, they got this new game. I really haven't played it. And, man, it's not right. I don't know what I'm doing. So, and Christian got a kick out of when I told him what Drake said. So, got my preview for the Christian Gray visit coming up. That should be posted on Irish Breakdown sometime earlier today, maybe around noon. Great interview. I give little tidbits about his visit to LSU. Talk about his remaining visits, USC and Ohio State, that are after Notre Dame, and where Notre Dame sits. Well, I will say this. There's nothing else he needs to know about Notre Dame. It's his fifth visit. He knows. So this really is about family, vibe, his guys, and just kind of making sure that what he knows is, yes, it's not fake, it's real. And then ultimately on July the 4th, he'll make his decision. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Once again, I'm Shaun Davis at SD2 Mics. Malik is supposed to join us. I know he was busy doing some stuff for IPC this morning, setting up for a busy weekend. Hope he gets able to join in. That's why we pushed it back to 11, thinking we'd be done by now. But he's still putting in that work for IPC right now. So, big event out in Vegas. It's been all over social media, 7-on-7 tournament. Guys like Brandon Ennis, Cardell Tate, Dante Moore, all the best of the best. I think Nico Amaliva arrives today in Vegas. Malachi Nelson. Best of the best. You name it. They're there. So, story's going to be coming out on the SI network probably later on today concerning Dante Moore. I saw some other stories out where it said, Notre Dame's not in Dante's top list anymore. That's big cap. That's a big cap. And I'll just leave it at that. That's big cap. Dante Moore on yesterday made it very clear that Notre Dame is very much in his top schools and will be a part of his final decision. But he did say that he's paying attention, or he paid attention to what happened this week with CJ Carr. Once again, CJ Carr was his backup on the 7-on-7 squad that they played on together. They're connected. They know each other. They're cool with each other. They're not friends or anything like that that hang out, but they're cool with each other. Two of the best quarterbacks in Michigan. They're very well aware of each other. And he basically said he wanted to keep it low key this week, not to step on his moment. That's basically what he said. He kept it low key this week because he didn't want to step on CJ's moment. And he knew CJ was going to Notre Dame. This wasn't something that snuck up on him. This wasn't something that he didn't know a long time ago. He's known for a while that Notre Dame is the school that CJ wanted to attend. This is where everything gets very, very interesting. Very, very interesting, right? We told you guys that up until, from what we know, there are two recruits in particular that Dante Moore has spoken to. And he had been calling commits. When they committed, he has been calling commits, saying, "What's up? Congratulations." This, that, and the other. Talks to Jaden Lamar. Talks to Braylon James. And he and Braylon James have a relationship that goes back beyond the connection of Notre Dame. So this whole entire situation, I'm going to be flat out honest, is crazy. It's flat out crazy, right? Because all the tea leaves are there, and they say Notre Dame. I'll say this. He wanted to make sure everyone knew that the upcoming visit to Texas A&M is not an official visit. It is an unofficial visit. When he was asked about his top schools, he did not put Texas A&M in those schools. Someone asked him about Texas A&M, and then he answered that question saying, yeah, that visit is an unofficial visit. It's not an official visit. I will say this, a school to watch because of the relationship that he has with the offensive coordinator that goes back to the offensive coordinator's days at the University of Michigan is the University of Miami. I think they're a sleeper team in this whole Dante Moore thing. And it goes back to, we did a show and no one, he went down there for a 7-on-7 tournament and then left there and snuck over to Miami and spent another day there, spent time with guys like Ed Reed, who actually holds a position on the staff now. I forget what his official title is, but he holds a position within the program that deals directly with the development of the young men. I forget what his title is. Ray Lewis was there. Some other Kane greats were there. And they really put on the full court press for Dante Moore. And I felt right then like, yo, this is going to be very impactful. And I said it because no one had it. No one had reported it. And let everybody know that's where he was after he left the tournament. And there was really no buzz around it. Michigan is always going to be, like I said, CJ Carr's father's favorite school, of course, Michigan. Dante Moore's favorite. Dante Moore, his father, big Michigan fan. All right. This is where I think Dante is. It's a very tough position. Do I think Dante Moore feels a certain way about the CJ Carr situation? Yes. To what extent? I don't know. Is he genuinely happy for CJ Carr? Yes. They played together. I don't think there's any malice or hate coming from Dante Moore's direction about what took place. I think he understands fully that CJ made up his mind and he wanted to pull the trigger. And that's his decision. He said himself, yo, I'm going to keep it low key this week until after the decision is made, and then I'll talk about it. So Dante Moore is very much at a point now where he feels like, man, I'm in a tough spot, right? Because what I'm going through right now is really not of myself. If it was up to me, we both will be in the class by now. And he put out a little tweet last night on purpose, right? CJ makes his decision. The buzz is there. The reports have been out there early this week that Notre Dame was backing off. And he tweets out late last night, you know, I'm blessed. How blessed he is to be in the position that he's in, right? And I think he fully believes that he's blessed. He's blessed to have the opportunity to have schools like LSU, Oregon, Notre Dame, Miami, Michigan to choose from. Great programs. Great programs. But at the end of the day, his first love is Notre Dame. He knows that. The people around him know that. Notre Dame and the coaching staff knows that. And if you ask anyone that has been around him, dug deep on this, talked to his coaches, talked to people in his family, talked to people in his community, anyone that's within the vicinity of Dante Moore in the last 6 to 7 months, everyone comes away with the same conclusion. He's going to Notre Dame. That's why Notre Dame, or the reports of Notre Dame saying, yeah, we're backing off. That's why it hit the way it hit, because everybody's like, yo, regardless of what's going on, the vibe is still he's going to Notre Dame. So you're going to, dude, he's coming. He's coming. You just have to wait. Like, we know you don't like the way things are going. You don't like the way things are being strung out, played out, but he's coming. He's still talking to your recruits. He's still talking to your recruits. He's coming. And I said it before. If indeed, I don't know where these reports came from, what their sources are, why they made these reports. I saw one report go out, and then the same writer the next day went 180. Went 180 and said Notre Dame is 100% still recruiting Dante Moore. So that's why I said, man, this thing is, you know, I wonder about the motives of some of these publications when it comes to Notre Dame. I really do. I ask myself, do they see themselves as an asset to Notre Dame, that particular writer, or those that cover for the publication? So it's a very interesting week, you guys. LL Nation, it's been a very interesting week. And matter of fact, someone asked me last night, what do you think? And I said, you know what? The kid sounds like someone that doesn't like the spot he's in. And you can tell that he's a little bit bothered that CJ Carr stole some of his shine. Dante Moore was he's supposed to be that dude. He's supposed to be the 5-star that Notre Dame got that elevates everything. That's his spotlight. That's his shine. That's his. So he doesn't have hate for CJ. His feeling right now is like, yo, that's my spot. That was supposed to be me. Everybody was supposed to be talking about me for a full week leading up to my decision. And so now you have to move on from that. That opportunity is gone. That opportunity is gone. And now you have to recognize, all of us, like whether it's motivational or we go to church and we hear from our pastor or we hear from a friend, something bad happens to us. In the process of moving on from that, you find the blessing. Like, you know what? Things didn't go the way I wanted to go, but find the blessing in it. And he's trying to find the blessing in this situation, which is, you know what? I still have 5 schools that I'm interested in, and I'm going to go through the process to see what happens. It's not the way I wanted it to go. It's not the way that I wished it could have gone. I feel like someone snuck up, stole my spotlight. Does he feel like Notre Dame allowed that? I really don't think he has any leverage. There's really nothing he can feel bad about towards Notre Dame, right? You can't. They've been begging you to commit for months. They've been begging you to come out and say, yo, let people know you want to come here and that you're committing to be the quarterback in the face of the 2023 class on the offensive side of the ball. You're doing everything else. You're part of the family. You're talking to the commits, talking to recruits, letting them know. We talk to recruits off the record, myself and Malik, that have flat out told us he's going to Notre Dame. And if someone stole your shine, I don't know who else you can blame. I don't know who else you can blame. But as of last night, when he spoke to reporters in Las Vegas, Notre Dame is very much in his top 5. Very much in contact with the coaching staff. And very much recruiting him hard, according to his words. Unfortunate that he had to go through what he went through, because this affected him 100%. He won't tell a bunch of reporters that he's affected by it. But if he kept it a bean, if he was going to keep it a bean, he's a little salty. There's a little salt in his game this morning. A little salt. He's probably going to have a chip on his shoulder this weekend and show his whole entire at that tournament, put on a show. Probably. But hey, man, in my opinion, in this situation, the leverage has totally shifted to Notre Dame. And the Notre Dame staff knows it. They know it. They absolutely know it. Because there's nothing more important this year for Notre Dame. Not Dante. Dante Moore isn't the most important quarterback to recruiting. CJ Carr isn't the most important quarterback to Notre Dame recruiting. The most important quarterback to Notre Dame recruiting is the development of Tyler Buchner. If Tyler Buchner plays well, Notre Dame will get quarterbacks. It's plain and simple. Tyler Buchner wins 11 games, plays well, Tommy Rees won't have a problem getting 5-star quarterbacks. He won't. He won't. I told you guys when all the buzz about possible commitment from Dante Moore in March and April, you can go pull up the podcast. Everybody was like, yo, he's going to commit. I'm like, man, look, if I were his father, if I was Dante Moore's father, there's no way I commit to Notre Dame until I at least watch 4 games this season. Tommy Rees is going to have to show me, because there's no history of his predecessor or him developing a quarterback. None. There is none. And the first thing that came out of Dante Moore's mouth on yesterday when he talked about what he's looking for, where I can be developed. As a father, when I hear that and I know that, you got to have some proof. The LSU, Brian Kelly can't show Dante Moore a thing on his resume about quarterback development. Can't. Nothing there. Nothing. Minimal. Oregon, Dan Lanning. Really? Georgia? Who? That's why this is very interesting. Like, you show me the team that's on his list that has a history of developing NFL quarterbacks. Out of the 5 teams that he mentioned, Notre Dame, Michigan, Oregon, LSU, Miami. There is no recent history of developing quarterbacks. None. And this is what makes everything very interesting. It might come down to relationship. It might come down to relationship and field. It might. Everybody's worried about NIL just because of fit. Dante Moore is not going to Texas A&M. He's not. Miami's really not in the place for a lot of reasons to offer big-time NIL money. Why would Michigan go over the top? They're the home team. They're the team that's like, yo, are you going to give us a hometown discount? Right? Man, can you give us a hometown discount? LSU? SEC? Of course, they probably have NIL money. Or are they really going over the top? I mean, heck, it's already 4 quarterbacks down there right now in that quarterback room. It's going to be really interesting. Here's something else that's interesting. His dude. Chris, he's not leaving me hanging. I can do shows for hours by myself. He's handling his business. We still going to rock on with LL Nation. I'll get to your comments shortly. I want to make sure I get all my points out here so you guys can be informed. There's a possibility a decision is made by Dante Moore in the next 2 weeks because of leverage. It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a possibility that leveraging could be a factor in this situation. I say that because of this. His boy, the Thicker Than Thieves, announced his top 3. Notre Dame, Ohio State, Tennessee, Carnell Tate. He's had 2 interviews with us. If you missed those, go look it up in our archives. Both are great interviews. Top 3, he had a top 5, cut it down to top 3, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Ohio State. His commitment is going to be within the next 10 days. Next 10 to 14 days, Carnell Tate is going to announce where he's going to school. Most publications pretty much have sewn it up to Tennessee. He's out there with his boys right now, Brandon and his crew. He wants to play with his boys. Like, don't get it twisted, man. Ohio State is very much in this. Very much in this. But let me throw a wrench in the plans of everyone that thinks it's just like Tennessee or Ohio State. Which Buckeye fans, for some reason this week, have been going insane at Carnell Tate, talking about they don't think he's really that good, and it's certain podcasts that support Ohio State football. It's crazy. But let me get back to my point, which is Carnell's decision is coming up in the next 10 to 14 days. Could be Tennessee, could be Ohio State. Most people feel like Notre Dame is on the outside looking in right now. If his boy knows my shine was stolen and he wanted to get his shine back, there will be no better way than to go ahead and make a decision on the same timeline as your boy. And both of you all go to the same school. I'm going to say that again. There will be no better way to put the spotlight back on you if you felt like CJ Carr and his announcement took what was yours than to tell your boy, I'm coming out. I'm about to make it known where I'm going. This is where I'm going, and I want you with me. It's a possibility. It's very much a possibility. It's very much a possibility. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I'm just saying. You know, you have to try and think like young people at some point. I'm not Chris. I'm not getting your hopes up. I'm just telling you, there's leverage in this situation. And at some point, what I'm really saying is, at some point, CJ Carr was a good son in the process of his recruiting. And in being a good son, he listened, he let everything roll. But after the Irish invasion, he went home and said, you know what? I understand that. I hear what you're saying. But this is where I want to go. With the CJ Carr situation happening, knowing pretty much his best friend in football, and his boy is ready to make a decision in the next 2 weeks, I can see him saying, yo, I'm ready. I can see him having that same moment that CJ Carr had after being the good son for so long, stepping away and saying, you know what? I'm ready. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you guys are saying. You're right. But I know where I want to go. Let's go rock. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just letting you know. It's something to think about. It's absolutely something to think about. Because Ohio State wants Carnell Tate, Noah Rogers, and Brandon Ennis. That trio would be bananas for a wide receiver haul if they were able to pull it off. Josh Heupel, that staff, Coach Kelsey Pope, they've done an amazing job. An amazing job recruiting Carnell Tate. They came in on the back end after relationships had already been established, and then lost the wide receiver coach to the NFL. Kelsey Pope steps up. NIL comes into the conversation. They've done a great job. They've done a great job. So, like I said, the next 2 weeks bears watching in recruiting when it comes to Notre Dame on a lot of different fronts. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. Let's get to some of your comments, man. I just wanted to get all of that stuff out of the way concerning CJ Carr and Dante Moore. Let's see. Anthony K. Shea, thank you. We appreciate you. If Carr doesn't reclassify, DM is coming. If he does, DM isn't. Full stop. Thoughts? From what I'm hearing, the reclassification thing would be very, very difficult for CJ Carr because it's Notre Dame. It would be very difficult. I see Charlie White's last belt loop said CJ Carr said himself that he's not reclassifying, and the way he's talking to the likes of Drake Bowen and the other 24 commits, it doesn't seem like he's going to go through that process of reclassifying. So I think there's one more super chat here that I want to get to before I get to some of your other comments. It might have been above Anthony K. Shea's here. You guys bear with me just a little bit. There it is. Michael McCarthy, thank you for your super chat. Love you, Shaun. You're the GC. Respect you much. The GC. I like that. The GC. You guys, that's what Malik calls me jokingly, the good Christian. The GC. Blessings to you and Lefty. We appreciate you. Will Chestnut, there's also some recruit call like Micah Bell, and all I can think about is that scoundrel from around. He sounds like a Stringer Bells. That makes me think about The Wire and Stringer Bell. Michael Bell, very raw talent, goes both ways. He's an athlete. David Solomon, doubling down on that. He said in his post-recruitment interview that he's not going to reclassify. Yeah, it is. It's going to be tough. I don't know. I know. I'm not going to front. I know who it is. I just can't tell you. I just wouldn't kill their moment like that. But I think the recruit, you'll be able to see this recruit that commits today, that's supposed to commit today, on multiple platforms. It won't just be IPC. He'll be on other platforms as well. That's about as much as I can give you. I know who it is, but it's a good day. It's a good day for Notre Dame recruiting. It's a good day. Will Chestnut, your best sequels? Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Squeakquel. I've never seen it. Antoine Porchredo, what's good, fam? How you feeling? Good to see you back with us. How many of the kids visiting Indy this weekend do you think will commit soon? All right. Let me give you an estimation, because I told you by the end of July, I think they could have 20 commits in the class. I told you that a couple of weeks ago. So let's see. Keon Keeley came back. He's already committed. Jaden Lamar, Rico Flores, Ronan Hannafin, Cooper Flanagan, who's a commit, Sullivan Absher, who's a commit, Sam Pendleton, who's a commit, Monroe Freeland, Devin Houston, who's a commit, Jason Moore, Jaden Alsbury, Christian Gray, Jet White from the 25 class, Adon Schuler, who's a commit, Caleb Downs, Micah Tees, who they really just kind of took a step forward with, since it seems like there's no connection with him in Oklahoma anymore, and a kicker, big-time kicker, Grant Reddick, all in town this weekend. So they're sitting at what? They'll be at 14 after today. Is it 14 or 15? I think after today, I think it'll be 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of the kids, they get 4. So let's act like we're playing spades, right? 4 in a push. It's 4 in a push. 4 in a push. That's what I'm going to say. 4 of the kids that are on campus this weekend more than likely will end up committing to Notre Dame, and there is a possible in there as well. It's a good possible, too. It's a very good possible. I would say 4 of the kids commit from this weekend. Oh, they will. They will. I agree with you. The receivers they're there, and, just let it play out. Let it play out. I just did a full hour by myself on the spot. Didn't think I was going to have to do this, guys. Jay Henry, I just gave you the list. Like I said, yeah, a guy like Micah Bell can go both ways. Super explosive. Notre Dame with him is, they're in great shape with Cam Williams already from the 24 class. Every position, I really don't see a weak position right now, the way Notre Dame is recruiting in any class. I really don't. I really don't. Like Michael Wu just said, Mike, thank you for joining us. Braylon James, Jaden Greathouse, Micah Tees, Hanovan. Then you got 24, Cam Williams, Miles Graham. They're already locked in with those guys. I think both of those kids could commit early, in my opinion. And don't forget, matter of fact, I'll be talking to his coach coming up this weekend. Christian Hamilton comes in next week. Number 1 player in the state of North Carolina. He's coming into Notre Dame, and for most people, they thought that was like a new offer, a new relationship, but they've been recruiting him the entire time. So he's finally getting to campus, and it's Notre Dame. His coach is very impressed with Marcus Freeman and the coaching staff. So yeah, Indy is wild for almost having a full 2020. They might, like I said, they should be at 20, possibly by like mid-July, which is bonkers, which means now from the middle of July until signing day, the early signing day, it's all about Richard Young. It's all about Jeremiah Love, who could commit before then and could decide on Notre Dame before then. It's all about Josiah Wagner. It's all about Micah Bell, Christian Hamilton. It's all about guys like that. It's all about guys like that. They're literally having this weekend. It ends on the 12th. And the very next day, if I'm not mistaken, yes, the day after everyone leaves, Richard Young comes in all by himself. Like full attention, everybody on the staff, this kid right here, the number 1 running back in the nation, class of 2023. Him. He gets everything to himself. Like we're written out, like just clear. It's almost like a dude taking a young woman on the date and just rents out the entire restaurant. That's what Notre Dame is doing on this first date for Richard Young. They're just renting the whole spot out. Everybody has to go. Chef is only cooking for us. We're going to make it poppin'. It's about to be lit. We're going to let Richard Young know this is the place for you to be. You want to make an impact, you can come be the best running back in the history of Notre Dame. That's my pitch off top, off the bat. We have great offensive lines. We're about to have great quarterbacks, great wide receivers. Always have a great defense. Head coach, hey, you already know. Don't worry about us. I know you saw the Fiesta Bowl. You saw Jack Cohn throwing the ball 50 times. But your head coach, this is what he wants to do.
I kind of told him this today in the team meeting, is that I have a vision and identity I want for our team, and that's to be a team that can run the ball and stop the run, right? I believe in our O-line and our D-line being the foundation of our team. And so I'm excited to see if that can become our identity. That's my vision. I also want to see a team that's aggressive. You know, that's one of our mantras, challenge everything. What does that mean? It means be aggressive. Do not play timid. Do not play scared. Think outside the box offensively and defensively, schematically. Be okay with taking chances.
And you, young man, you're the perfect fit at the running back position for us to be able to do that. Right here in Notre Dame, 4 for 40. Best product in all of college football. That's the pitch to Richard Young. Plain and simple. You can be the best running back in the history of this school. Period. Jay Henry, you know I have to keep my clips ready. I always got something in the clip. And that clip is always in the clip. Just to put emphasis on my point. That's all. That's all. That's it. That's what we do. William Wolf, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. Hope all is well. Thank you. We try to always keep it real. Always keep it real. Let's see, Michael Wu. If Dante and his family can't see that Freeman is building something special and is not helping with recruiting, then we don't need him. We're rolling, so if you don't want to join, too bad. Michael, I wouldn't say he hasn't been helping. I think if people have been saying that, that wouldn't be totally true. I don't think he's doing as much as he could if he would publicly commit, but I do think he has been he was in contact with Braylon James during his recruiting. So, and others. So I'll leave it at that. He could be doing more, but he's done a little bit. I don't even want to put a percentage on it because I don't want to disrespect him. Where's the Brady Lindsay clip? No, this is a true story. This is the true story. I did some cleaning up, and I literally deleted the Brady Lindsay clip from the clip this morning. Like, no lie. No lie. I literally deleted it this morning. So, I'm sorry about that. I think that clip got the most laughs. I did, you know what? Just for you, because I'm a great guy, love LL Nation, and just because you asked for it, I'm gonna try to bring it to you. I'm going to try and bring it to you. I don't know why you guys think this is like a funny clip, man. Here's Braden Lindsay. I think this is the clip you guys are asking.
He's definitely got confidence on the field. I think that's the biggest indicator of a good player when they're young. He's definitely the best runner I've had as a quarterback in college. And I think, it wasn't showcased as well, but he's got a good arm. And I think as time goes on, he'll be able to make more smarter decisions as a passer. And that kind of comes to just experience. I mean, quarterback's the hardest position. There's a lot going on. So I think he's going to, improve vastly.
And that clip, it is funny. It is kind of funny. He's the best runner I've had as a quarterback. Kind of a strange thing to say as a wide receiver. Tyler Mormon, as we get ready to close, Shaun, I just want to speak on behalf of ND Nation and thank you for all the grinding you've been doing. The changing of the program is 10 times more enjoyable with y'all letting us behind the scenes. Tyler, much love, my brother. Appreciate you. This is one of the most, no, I didn't need a love letter from you. I didn't see it. And mad. I wish you could see my life. I don't get mad at chat comments. I just don't. I'm sorry. I think the last time I was mad, I think somebody said something with racial intention on the board, and I kind of went off. But no, I've never been mad. I actually laugh at most of your comments. I think you keep everybody in the chat in stitches every day for the stuff you say. So, yeah, Chris Carnell just said himself in a recent interview that he talks to Coach Freeman weekly. So, yeah, that dude, he's funny. We love you, though, doctor. What are you a doctor of, though? I'm interested in knowing. Like, serious question. Like, what kind of doctor are you? I would love to know. You know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's pettiest story? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, pettiest story of the day. Something someone said or did. Put me on the petty train. I might have to put myself on the petty train. Looking at the comments, look, I take people, I take things literally. My wife tells me all the time, like, yo, you take things a little bit too literally. Look, you put Dr. Karl Marx, like if it had been an M-A-R-X, I might have picked up on it. But I mean, if that's just a moniker, to go with his political thoughts, then so be it. But when I see doctor, I show respect. Like, yo, like I call him Doc. Even when I respond to his comments, it's like, all right, Doc. So he's like Dr. J, I got it. Proctologist. Pettiest story of the day. Look, we said the other day the story about the young lady throwing out the ashes of her boyfriend's father because she got angry with him over there in Indiana, which is ridiculous, man. Oh, man. And I'm going back and forth with this, right? We didn't do a show yesterday, so Draymond Green has to go on the petty train again. I put him on the day before for his comments about the 80s and 90s. But post-game on Wednesday, a reporter from Bleacher Report, it's debatable whether or not his question was like an attempt or a reach. But the way Draymond handled him and tried to embarrass him, and then to me, it was just super petty. It's like, okay, let it go. If you didn't want to answer the question, that's fine. But to go to the extent that he went to, I got to throw him on the petty train. Have to throw him on the petty train. And I want to be petty to Bears fans. So I have a clip for you.
Okay. Hey, that's gone. Hey! Okay, one.
So that's Bears quarterback Justin Fields taking batting practice at Wrigley Field yesterday. And he hit one out. If you guys don't know, Justin Fields was a highly touted baseball player as well as a quarterback coming out of the state of Georgia. And he chose football. Did you choose the wrong sport, dude? Maybe you guys have a center fielder playing quarterback in Chicago this year. I thought I would be petty and throw a little dig at Bears fans because we have plenty of them in LL Nation. He might have chosen the wrong sport. Do you guys think you can still hit a home run out of a major league stadium? I think I could. I think I could to this day. Yeah. Will, especially financially, always choose baseball. Always. It might be a longer path, but the payout on the back end, oh my God. He said he's you like that one, Dr. Carl, Dr. Evil? With the okay. Kelly. No, I'm not going to put my boy in the petty train. It's a big day. It's a big day for IPC and a big day of recruiting in Notre Dame. So they're putting in work. It's a big weekend. It's a really big weekend. And we didn't do a show yesterday because of me. And I was like, yo, my daughter's flying out to Atlanta for this big picnic, the Greek picnic down there. And I had to spend some time with my ladies before she goes. Oh, Timothy Midget, you think the second Doctor Strange was better than the first one, huh? And I'm a huge Doctor Strange fan. I'm going to meditate on that one over the weekend and get back to you, Timothy. I don't know. Because Doctor Strange set up so much for the last two Avengers, definitely for the last Avengers film. I don't know. Let's see. Antoine, let me try and get that information for you. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's at 2:00 my time. Yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Yep. No, it's 3 p.m. Eastern. Oh, we had that talk, bro. We had that talk. No. All right, man. She's down there with a crew. No solo. No walking off with cats. None of that. Not in the ATL. Appreciate it. All right. So we're brought to you by Onora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com and Premium American Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. From my boy Malik Zaire at Overtime Malik and Malik Zaire 8 on Twitter. I'm Shaun Davis at SD2 Mics. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll be back Monday morning with a recap of the full weekend of recruiting in South Bend. Don't forget, spin it different.